group is for sharing those common problems, so that uh, other person can learn from the mistakes of all those people who have learned before you. Okay, so do not share complete problems here. Do not bully anyone here that this is a silly problem, why are you asking such a question. No, don't do such a thing. If a person is coming across a problem, let them ask. Okay, however, whoever is asking the question has to make sure that that you are not asking the complete question. Always remember this, otherwise that question will be removed from here. Okay, no one should prefer to answer a question which is asking for a solution. Instead, a person sharing an error and asking what could be this error, I'm not able to understand it, or I'm getting this error and I'm trying to solve this via this, but I'm not able to solve with this. This is a completely different thing. Okay, solving an error, solving a particular logic which is somehow somewhere going wrong, is a different thing than asking a solution for a complete question. Okay, so let's suppose you want to ask some question here, so you are going to click here at the new conversation. Okay, and let's say I have got this subject. Let's say error on into how. Let's say the first problem we have is how to install Python. Okay, so I have a question here that I want to ask, and let's for now I'm just making it the topic of the question, and inside this here I'm going to write the explanations. uh, have to take classes on Python, and for that I want to install Python. Which version of Python should I install, and is there any uh, thing that I have to follow while installing the Python? Alright, so let's say this is the question that I wanted to ask. Now I have this question available, so I'm going to post it. As soon as a person posts a question, that will be available here. Okay, so you can click that particular question, right, and other people can reply to it. So everything will be clearly visible in the group quite easily. Okay, so this is one way through which you all can share your problems, uh, and you can share it for solutions. Okay, all right, so this was the Google group that I was talking about yesterday, the support the help group for you people. Now let's talk about Python. Now before we move into the Python, yesterday I told you that we'll be installing Python, and there are certain steps that we have to follow. So I'm going to show you exactly how I am downloading Python and installing Python. Okay, I'm going to prefer the Python version 3.6 instead of any other version of Python, because Python 3.6 is currently stable, and all the other libraries that we have, they are updated for 3.6, while they are still updating for 3.7 and 3.8, and 3.9 is about to come. So there is nothing wrong with using 3.6 or 3.5 or 3.4. They all are really good, and the the latest versions have some kind of updations over them, but they do not differ a lot. I mean, for the basic, for a beginner, it does not make much of a difference. Never. Okay, so I'm going to install Python 3.6 now, and I'm going to show you guys here. So I'm going to firstly stop presenting this screen and start presenting the new screen. All right, this is the screen. Okay, not just this, actually I should be going ahead with the whole screen. All right, so I'm going. The name of the group is Google Group. Okay, So presenting now with the entire screen. All right, so I'm going to download Python now. Okay, you all can see it on the screen. All right. So first, I make the Python 3 download. I'm just going to type it straight away. I'm using DuckDuckGo instead of Google.com because it prevents sorry it safeguards our privacy. Okay, so I'm going to click here at the download, and I'm going to click at all the releases. You can see here that the latest one that is available for us to download is Python 3.8.5, right? So instead of going for Python 3.8.5, I'm going to prefer to use Python 3.6. So I'm going to click here at the all releases. Okay, and I have to move down now. So here you can see Python 3.6, right? And particular specific version, right? Where is it? Okay, so here, yeah. So Python 3.6.11, 3.6.12, you can see them, right? So I'm going to install the latest version of the Python 3.6, which is Python 3.6.12. It was released on August 17, 2000. So I'm going to download this one. Okay, I'm going to click this. Here I have to come down, and you'll see where is it? There's the file. Whew. Should be showing me a download file here. Okay, wait. Let's see. Try this one. List of downloads. Let's wait here itself again. File. Both other files file. Python 3.6 download. Alright, it should be showing a download button here, but it's not, which is quite a surprise. Click here the Windows. Alright, so I've got the solution. Okay, the step was to come to the download section, come to the Windows section. Okay, this is the Windows section here. As soon as you click at the Windows section, then you get the download option. Okay, so okay, all right. So we have Python 3.6.12 here, right? I'm going to click on this one, and this is going to show me the same page again, which is again a surprise because this is not the way it happens normally. Looks like 3.6.12 is not available for download right now. No files for this release. It clearly says this. Okay, so I'm going to go for Python 3.6.11 or 10, right? So I'm going to look for it. Python 3.6.11. There is no file for this one as well. So Python 3.6.10. Where are you? No files for this release as well. Okay, 3.6.9. 3.6.8. All right. So the version that we are installing is Python 3.6.8. This one is here, right here. Okay. So if we have a 64-bit operating system, all right. If we have a 64-bit operating system, then you are going to download this one, the Windows x86-64 executable installer. Okay, this is the one that you have to download, x86-64 executable installer. If you are using a 32-bit operating system, then you have to install the uh, Windows x86 executable installer. For 32 bits, you have to use x86 only. For 64-bit operating system, you have to use x86-64 executable installer. So I'm going to download this one, 3.6.8, and I'm going to, let's say, save it here only. Alright, so it's downloading. It's going to take a couple of seconds. 30.4 MB, so not that much larger in size. Alright, so it's downloaded, and now I'm just going to open it straight away. Okay, so I've opened the file, and alright, so the first thing that you have to make sure is you have to add Python 3.6 to path. Okay, what this does is it adds Python interpreter to the computer environment, and it enables you to run your Python program in using command prompt, which is a part of your curriculum in order to learn how to use Python on the command prompt. Okay, how to work with Python using command prompt. Okay, so you have to use Python 3.6 to path, and then you have to choose custom installation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead with custom installation. Everything here is all right. If you want to install for all the users, click this one. Otherwise, uncheck this one. Okay, it's up to you for this one. You have to click next, and here you see install for all users or some of them. This gives you the option. The most important part after adding it to the environment is making sure that you are installing it in directly into the C folder. Okay, so what I want to do here is everything I'm going to remove before Python until C colon backslash. So we are going to install Python 3.6 uh, in a folder by the name of, let's say, Python 3. I'm updated to the name of the folder. Okay, so inside the C drive of your computer, it's going to create a folder by the name of Python 3, and inside that it is going to install Python 3.6 and all these things. Okay, so do not install directly into the users or any other drive. I mean, into the C drive. Do not install it into the users folder. Okay, install it as a direct folder. That way, you will never have any problems with the permission that it sometimes asks for while installing the libraries of Python. Okay, so I'm going to click here install directly. Okay, I should go with Python 3.6 straight away. Okay, straight away installing. It's going to ask us to confirm whether it's a verified publisher or not. I'm going to click on yes. It's going to take a couple of minutes to install. Okay. This much is clear to everybody, right? Okay. Meanwhile, it is installing. Let's have a look at the Google Colab that I was talking about yesterday. So many of you do not have computer, so you'll be working with the cell phone, which is again totally fine. Okay, so Google Colab is something is an environment which is provided online by the by Google. Okay, and you can use it to work with the Python. Okay, all the libraries like Python libraries, the important libraries that you'll be working with, for example, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. Um, there are other important libraries that you're not going to use, but they are available there, like TensorFlow, Keras. For machine learning, we have Scikit-learn also. So there are so many other important libraries which are already installed there. So if you are going to work with Google Colab, then you do not have to install anything. You just have to open your cell phone browser, and you just have to log into your Gmail account, and then go ahead with Google Colab. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute how to use Google Colab also. Okay, while this one is just about to install, let's let it get installed first. All right, so it gives you a kind of like opportunity to disable path length limit. By default, Python 3.6.8, in Python 3.6.8, the maximum path size, which means the maximum size of the file along with the folders uh, that you can use in Python, is limited to 260 characters. If you want to disable it, you can disable it from here. However, more often than not, we do not come across such a long path. So still, if there's a possibility that sometimes you may come ahead with such kind of limitation, so you can disable it if you want to. I'm choosing to not to. Okay, so I'm going to close here. The setup was successful, so the Python is already installed. And how do you use Python basically? So you go to the Windows button here, right? You can see the start button here, right? I'm going to click this one, and it clearly shows you Python 3.6 idle and Python 3.6 manuals. If it does not show you this, then all you have to do is simply search for it. Okay, so let's say I'm going to search for Python in my computer. So all I have to do is press the window button and type Python. As soon as you type Python, you can see that there is a idle Python 3.6 के साथ में, and there is Python 3.6 64-bit, right? So this is a clear sign of the fact that Python 3.6 is installed in your computer. All right. Uh, the another way to confirm this, which is the way that I want you guys to follow, is to open a command prompt. To open a command prompt, again go to the Windows button, and just type CMD. Okay, CMD, right? You can see it on the screen, CMD. As soon as you type CMD, you will get the option to open command prompt. Okay, so double click on the command prompt here, or you can right click on it and click it as open, as run as an administrator, or there is option to open it here as well. Okay, so I'm going to open the command prompt. Right, you can see the command prompt is open here, and in the command prompt, all you have to do is type Python. Okay, the only thing that you have to do is type Python and press enter. As soon as you press enter, you will be able to see that the Python interpreter is open here. This marks the start of the interpreter, this three greater than angle sign, right? And print something here. Let's say you're going to print here is hello. After that, press enter. It is going to give you the output, which is hello again. So if you are able to get to this screen, then this means the installation was correct, and you can work with the Python. Okay, so you are good to go. This is what it means. All right, so this is for the people who will be working with their computers. So I urge you to install Python before the next class. Okay, and make sure that Python is running, and this is this is the kind of you are able to get to the interpreter on the command prompt. Okay, because in the next class we'll be starting with the theory of Python, what is Python, the features of it, importance of it, and how to use it, okay, in the next few classes. All right, so now I'm going to talk about Google Colab. Okay, so this is it with the installation of the Python. So for those of you who will be using it on cell phone, you can make use of Google Colab. uh, Let me open Google Colab for you guys. All right. Okay, so I'm going to open Google Colab here. Okay, Google Colab. You all can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So as soon as I made a search for Google Colab, the very first link is Google Collaboratory. It will be available to you. Okay. So you have to click this one, Google Collaboratory. Okay. And before searching for this, make sure that you have logged in into your Google account, Gmail account, basically. Okay. So if you are logged into Gmail account, then you'll be able to save uh, whatever you are doing in here. Okay. So as soon as you open it, you get to see this kind of a screen, which is like really confusing if you are a beginner. So all you have to do
Sir, we
is
should, sir, we should use the Google account, that one email account which college referred, or else some other
uh,
one.
you can use any Google Gmail account that you want to. I would rather urge you to use your personal account, because then data will be safe with you. And yeah, I mean, so by safe, I mean to say is data will be with you even when you leave college. Okay, so because when you are going to leave college, your email accounts are going to get removed, right? So you will not be able to access the work in Python that you save in the college account. Right? So you can use your personal account as well as college account. It is totally up to you. It's your choice. Okay. So I've opened Google Collaboratory here, and the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the file option. This is the same way it's going to happen in the cell phone. So if you are going to search for Google Colab in the cell phone, this is the same way that you have to work with on your cell phone as well. Okay. So you have to click on Python, so file here, and you have to click. Just you can see the option for new notebook inside. Okay, so you have to click on the new notebook. All right. As soon as we click on the new notebook, it opens a new window for us. It's going to set up an environment, and it's going to make it available for us. Okay, so uh, now we have a notebook, okay, Python notebook, okay, IPython notebook available to us, and I can give it a name if I want to. Okay, so if I want to give it a name, all I have to do is touch your finger on the screen here, or click with your stylus here, and you have to give the name. Let's say this is practice 0, right? Dot ipynb is the extension. You do not have to remove this part. Okay, dot ipynb, this is the extension for Python IPython notebook. Okay, you do not have to remove this. Okay, everything that is before is the name of your file, practice 0, right? And this is the name of the file. I'm going to click on the file now, and I'm going to click on the save. So this is going to save it with the file with the name practice0.ipynb. Let's suppose I want to calculate. Let's take an example of adding two numbers, just to see, just to show you, how to use this notebook. Okay, so let's say we have a variable with the name of a, and we give it the value 2. Okay, so if I have to execute a cell here, I have to click shift plus enter. Okay, so when you are using it on your cell phone, what you have to do is, there are two buttons. One is the enter button there, enter, or the return button on your cell phone, right? It can be with any of these two names, right? And there is a button that you use to move from lowercase a to uppercase a, or to move from alphabets to symbols, right? uh, you have to use that particular sign. For example, let me show you the keyboard, right? uh, Cell phone keyboard. Okay, this is not exactly what I was thinking about, but all right. So this is the virtual keyboard here, and let's have a look at this one. So if we have to execute a cell after writing it, then you have to firstly click on this sign and hold it. Okay, this is the sign which this is the button that we use to move from uppercase alphabets to lowercase alphabets, or in some cell phones we use it to move to uh, uh, numbers and other symbols also, right? So you have to press on this button, okay, this upper button, shift button basically, kind of, right? And shift, and this is the return button here, also known as the enter button. Okay, so you have to press on this one and hold it, and then press the enter. Okay, uh, on the cell that you want to execute. For example, let's say the new cell I have written is b is equals to 2, and instead of pressing the enter, shift plus enter, what I do is press an enter button directly. So you see, if I press an enter button directly, it moves into the next line in the same cell. This is one cell, one complete cell. Okay, and this is the second line of this particular cell. Okay, and if I this cell is not going to be over until unless I press the shift button along with the enter. When I do this, this particular line gets executed. Okay, let's say now I want to execute, I mean, I want to write c is equals to a plus b, right? If I press the enter button, I'm not going to get the output. I'm going to press shift plus enter. The moment I do this, this statement gets executed. Now if I want to see the output for c, I'm going to write print c. Okay, and I'm going to press shift plus enter because I want to get the output for this, right? So the addition for the two numbers is 4. So this is how you use Google Colab, I mean IPython notebook on Google Colab. Okay, once you are done with your file, all you have to do is click on your file. Okay, and firstly save it. Okay, and then click on file and save as a copy in drive. Okay, this will save the copy in your drive. For any chance, let's suppose you change, let's suppose you're working at home, and then for the next class you are at some other place, then in that case you can still continue to work with your file which is saved in your drive. Okay, so save a copy in drive always. This ensures that your file is available to you at all the times as long as you have access to internet. Okay, all right, so your file is saved, last saved at 10:45. All right, so this is the bit with installing. This is the part where we had to do with installing Python, and for those who are going to work in cell phone, to look at how to work with Google Collaboratory, IPython notebook. Okay, so is it clear to every person? Now you are now will you be able to install Python into your laptops or computers or whichever device that you use?
Yes, sir.
ओके जॉली हो जाएगा। आप घर पे सेल फोन पे करोगे तो आप गूगल कोलैब से वर्क करना, ठीक है?
ठीक है सर.
Anyone with any kind of question or query that you may have, you can ask it. All right, so looks like no one has
सर
any. Yes, Jolly.
सर वो प्रैक्टिकल की टाइम टेबल सेंड कर दीजिए ना ग्रुप पे, क्योंकि
Oh
फाइनलाइज नहीं
yes,
कर
yes,
पाना है.
yes. right? So about that, firstly I'm going to stop this recording because this part is not that important, right? So I'm going to stop the recording.